Hello, hello. Welcome to Ancient Gaming. I'm Zilla, and this is my Twitch channel, my Ancient Gaming streams, where I play videos with Ancient Studies content in them and talk about it. Apologies for the slightly late stream start. Had a little technical difficulty. Apparently, newer capture cards do not like PS3s, so we're just going to dive right in. I hope we're going to dive right in. Okay. So if we do have any technical difficulties, I hope you will bear with me. I think maybe the audio is not coming through yet. I'm going to try that. Oh yeah, that looks right. Alright, so please let me know if there are any difficulties, or if you are here in chat, feel free to say hello anyway. Welcome to Okami, a game about Japanese folklore. Made to look graphically like a slightly 3D rendering of Japanese brushwork art, sumie. Okami, the name, is both the word for wolf in Japanese, Okami, and also kami, the word for god, with an honorific suffix in front of it, o. So, lovely little introduction there. We are beginning a new game. I do want to start by saying that I, Zilla Black, am not 100% an expert in Japanese folklore. I am, at this point, I would consider myself an interested dabbler. We're getting little images of the gameplay here. I hoped we would stay on that screen for a while. Anyway, I am not Japanese. I have some Japanese background. I do have a degree in East Asian studies focusing on Japan, but it is not from an inside the culture perspective. And I have only been in Japan 6 months out of my 40 years of existence. So please, if you want to know more than this, I suggest you seek out Japanese creators. I don't have any to hand, which is part of why I really wanted to play this game, and maybe some others like it, so that we can get the Archeo gaming atmosphere into this wealth of games that come out of Japan that are so rooted in Japanese folklore. So... Oh, it's going to start the intro over for us. Good, because I didn't have any time to pay attention to that. So it's telling us the backstory here. We've got the sakura petals falling. Very classical Japan look. Tiny village named Kamiki. Which could mean beautiful god. There's a horrible beast, an 8-headed dragon named Orochi. And Orochi is an ancient legend from Japan. A terrible beast that could only be defeated by getting each of its 8 heads drunk and then removing them. The wolf, not actually a common beastie in Japanese folklore, but stands in here, and we will find out shortly, for the goddess who is the head of the Shinto pantheon, Amaterasu, the god of the sun. You see that sun symbol on Amaterasu's back, and the sort of red brush marks associated with her. She is associated with the sun, obviously. Pretty unusual to have a sun goddess and a moon god, but the Japanese do. And there's a whole wealth. You see all of these people around here. These are sort of caricatures of you know, Japanese archetypes, and some of them are spirits, the kind of folklore creatures you would know as yokai. Some of them are just people. Um, let's go ahead and begin the story, shall we? So, begin a new game. Oops. Gonna have to get used to the controls. I haven't played a PS3 game in a long time. That little now loading button, framed like a Japanese seal stamp. So very much using Japanese style of presentation here. We have a scroll, reads vertically from right to left. Are they giving this the intro again? No, not gonna. Cherry blossom is generally considered an emblem of spring, of beginnings in Japan. Shinto is a more animistic religion, so they tend to sort of personify uh, trees and streams and stuff, much like the ancient Greeks would call, every stream a nymph or a river god. The Shinto priests would, for instance, honor the beautiful cherry trees protecting a village that make it distinct as their own gods. So this is not an uncommon way of viewing things at all. It's very sort of nature oriented. You see Orochi's name here for the first time, and you can see all its heads at once. So the land being terrorized by the terrible dragon Orochi. And here we have. I'm not sure that this sort of maiden sacrifice was ever really a thing in the Legends of Orochi. This is one I'm not 100% sure on. My instinct is that this is an import from Western ideas. Because of course you may be familiar with the sort of more common Japanese and Chinese image of a dragon that it is a river god, and they fly sort of by swimming through the air. They're more snake-like, something you might see in Spirited Away or a Zelda game. Orochi is not that kind of dragon. Um, yeah, this is much more of a monstrous creature. A little bit older game design here, as you can tell by the way that the dialogue scrolls. Shiranui. I don't actually know what that would mean altogether. I probably should. And my Japanese is very rusty at this point. Shiro means white, so it's probably Shiranui. Maybe some other word for wolf, or maybe beast or protector. Yes. The assumption that anything new is evil, of course. Very common. Nagi, I believe, is the warrior in folklore who defeated Orochi, but I'd have to double check myself. Oh, right. That's what Nagi is. So Nagi and Nami, short for Izanagi and Izanami, the two creator gods in Shinto. Um, so this is sort of an origin story. Um, Izanami and Izanagi were the first two beings of creation, and they woke to find themselves in a world with a pillar. They walked around. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Trundlebot. Shiranui Unknown Fire. Or Will o' the Wisp. Okay, so that doesn't actually have anything to do if you look at the kanji with white, but I'm sure that it's intended. Just like the name Okami is intended for a double meaning. The kanji, yeah, the kanji are something like below understanding fire, so without fire, unknown fire. Perfect. Yeah. Um, so to get back to the creation story, there's one of the very first written works we have in Japanese is this story. They walked around the pillar, met each other, and fell in love and conceived of children, and they created the world this way around them. Eventually, Izanami goes down into the underworld and dies. And when she returns, Izanagi is horrified and rejects her. And so she becomes sort of the embodiment of the underworld, and he becomes the embodiment of the upper world. So it's sort of fitting here that she is marked for death. I don't remember if Izanagi is the one who fights Orochi. I really should have looked up that part of the myth before I started. I'm not used to having to look it up. Um, you can see in the outline there the sort of bell and pagoda structure of a Japanese ward. Amaterasu is one of their children, the oldest, I believe, along with Susanoo no Mikoto, the trickster god of storms. So, divine wind, you may be familiar with this concept. It is the direct translation of kamikaze, god wind. So, a wind so fierce that it destroys all before it. So, Shiranui, or Amaterasu, Okami, has the power to summon the divine wind. We see that brush stroke, and that's going to be important for us later on, given the gameplay. So this is sort of foreshadowing for us the powers that we will gain. The ability to create plants is also attributed to Amaterasu, as the sun helps the plants to grow. Particular swords having particular powers is also fairly common in Japanese myth, as it is in the West. See also Excalibur. This is rather a lot. At some point we'll get to play. So, Kamiki probably means village of the gods as a base meaning. I would guess. Tree of the gods. Just depends on what kanji it is. This would be a lot clearer if we had the Japanese, but also a lot more obscure because my ability to read it would be quite lost. See here a little shrine, fairly common style. We've got the two posts with a sort of curved crossbar. The Shinto paperwork at the front, honoring the statue of the spirit inside. Tsuku is the moon. Yomi. I just sort of had a brain fart. My apologies. I was thinking of Yami, which is darkness. I think Yomi is blade, so the moon blade. Okay, I think we've finally gotten through the intro with its beautiful art. It's not the end of the story. What do you know? Okay, so here we are, inside a shrine, inside the moon cave. See somebody approaching the Tsukuyomi. Oftentimes in Japanese myth, there is a sort of a seal upon evil spirits. They don't simply die or disappear. Um, so, by unsealing the blade, he has unsealed Orochi. And you see this if you follow the Zelda franchise, you'll see this a lot with sort of Ganon or if you've played Skyward Sword, particularly thinking of Demise, um, the black beast sealed by the 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 symbol at the bottom of the sealed grounds. Sorry, having a little bit of scatterbrain today. But so here we see one of Orochi's heads talking to this person who unsealed him. So Orochi isn't simply back. He needs some help to be physically reborn. So he needs this person to willingly assist him. So you can see this head kind of has on a sort of helmet, and some of the other heads have different things on them. We'll see that eventually, I think. So this person has the ability to finish bringing Orochi back, but doesn't. They didn't do this on purpose. They just didn't believe that the sword was sealing anything. So the evil spirit is awake and influential, but not fully embodied into the world again. So a darkness spreads from the moon cave, where it was bound. Destruction comes upon the land. Okay, finally getting to our part. Alright, so here we have a wood sprite named Sakuya. She is the embodiment of the god of one of the sacred peach trees, or sacred trees around the area. Not a cherry tree, it seems, but a peach tree, as you can see by her design. Oh goodness, her design. I'm so sorry. Sometimes games are just like this. But you can see from her top that that typical Japanese peach shape and coloration, where her breasts sort of are, the cleavage is that bright peach color fading out to a more white, with the leaves of her bodice surrounding it. That's intentional, and there will be more of it, and there's really just no accounting for this. Other than sexist people who want to see some cleavage, just really going at it. But peaches in Japanese folklore have a strong protective association. Protective spirits are often associated with peach trees or coming from peaches. There's Momotaro, the story of a boy who was born from a giant peach and went on to save the world. So And that's sort of similar to, the Western fairy tale of like Tom Thumb, like an old couple prays for a son, and one appears kind of oddly. Apparently, there was an ancient prophecy of doom, like there is. You can see that her clothing is a more traditional Japanese style. She's wearing kimono mostly, except for the top part. That's not traditional. But she has the big kimono sleeves. She's got an obi. It's tied around her waist. She also has some Shinto markers, that sort of folded paper look you can see over one side. So she is a protective spirit. She's got this big flowing mass of it's almost like a shawl of wind. And you often will see that around weather spirits. If you've played a lot of games, you might associate it with lightning gods. But it is a fairly common feature for depicting nature spirits, especially. So there we have her summoning Amaterasu. Uh, this object here that is going to go on her back is actually a mirror, uh, which, of course, mirrors shining light associated with Amaterasu, but also with a number of um, transitions between worlds and things like that. So, if you understand that Amaterasu is the goddess of the sun, this makes total sense, right? Shine your divine rays to this darkened world where the clouds of Orochi have gotten made all things dark. The mirror shines with the sun's rays, and you see that depiction of the sun with the distinct rays. You might recognize it from the Japanese flag. So Okami Amaterasu, Wolf Amaterasu, or the Great Goddess Amaterasu. Our mother and the origin of all that is Amaterasu. There's a mirror in the Imperial Regalia. Yes, yes, there is. You heard of the grass cutting sword? That's also associated with Amaterasu, and the mirror. It does have a name, but I'm blanking on it. And it does look like that object, and again, associated with Amaterasu, associated with bringing the power of the sun to earth. Um, and then we have the oh gosh, the word has just escaped me, but the little like curved teardrop symbol, like you would see in, like, if you've played the most recent Zelda, well, not quite most recent Zelda. If you played Tears of the Kingdom, you saw these secret stones that were kind of a curved teardrop shape, like a comma. This is a sacred symbol of Amaterasu. Um, One time, her brother Susano no Mikoto, the trickster storm god, stole her weapon and broke it into 8 pieces. And when she demanded it back, he threw them at her. And rather than, being upset, what she did is she actually chewed them into this shape, and they became a protective symbol that contain a divine power. Yes, I'm afraid the sound can get a bit annoying when you hear somebody talk for too long. So, Amaterasu Shiranui spent all that time frozen in statue and is now resurrected as the divine wolf. but she's tired. Lost a lot of her power. Nippon, one of the pronunciations of Japan. Nihon is generally what you'll hear in Japanese for Japan. Uh, I think Japan comes out of the Dutch pronunciation and then like translated through French to English. So, Nihon or Nippon usually are the way that you will hear people in Japanese refer to Japan. There it is, the peach butt. The peach butt, you're welcome. I'm sorry, whichever one you like. When I played this the first time, I just spent a while like, what? Who would do this? Who would do this? The developers of this game. So ho 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 or hoo 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 is usually what they say for laughter instead of ha ha ha. So the implication that something has gotten into her robe and tickling her, oh, how suggestive. Good excuse for wiggling around. People gotta peekle. So we have this little beetle-like friend. Okay, so one of the various sort of yokai types that Japanese people refer to is these very small sort of insect folks who can jump very high. I'm blanking on the name right now, but there's a whole story about villages of these little people around, much like fairies or imps. Um, Clearly, it's a bug. A wandering artist of a bug. The name is Isun. So Isun is a fairly famous one of these things. Um, and Isun is a pain in the butt. So here we have a line art version of Sakuya. I'm actually not all that impressed by it. Like, the line work is not very Japanese at all. Although the depiction of the face certainly is. I don't remember what Denkomaru means at all. I can look that up for next time. Their spirits lie encased in my fruit. So this is what I'm referring to, the protective nature of the peach. Like this is a an interpretation of that. I wouldn't say that it's a common one. But you will also fairly often see peaches on rooftops and things as a sort of ward. Shot it, Isin. So unfortunately, Okami Amaterasu cannot speak. So they gave us a sort of proxy. So when the darkness spread, Sakuya protected the village inside this peach, and now that Amaterasu is here, we need to restore it. Okay. So, at long last, I can actually do something. So this is my movement. I think I have normal control of the camera, but it's showing me right now that I don't. There's a jump, and when I land, there's a bark button. What's that? Oh, it's a dig button. And a rush. I can use the mirror as a shield. So let's go. Where are we? So L1 button goes from isometric to top to right behind the character. We've got looking around. Nothing particularly of note here. Don't recognize anything. What's that dig button again? Ah, the mirror. An origin mirror, like the one we have on your back. Once your reflection appears on its surface, your memories will be stored in the mirror for all eternity. So these are our save points. So let's save. Interesting that they have an in. Okay. My goodness. So I'm gonna just use. No. I'm just gonna use the number 1 slot. I think it'll be okay. I don't mind if my old game goes away. So we do have these Shinto-style braziers. They are tripodal, which is kind of neat if you remember me going on and on and on about Greek tripods when I played. Oops, gonna have to get used to this inverted control. I suppose I could change it. I'll think about it. About Greek tripods as sort of a source of devotion. Here they're just very practical, but we do have those Shinto guardian papers wrapped around the base of them. Oof. We've got some traditional pot breaking. Now, if you've played Zelda Twilight Princess, this might feel very familiar to you. They were, as far as I know, uh, created basically on the same engine and with a lot of the same things in mind. So, wham! Oh, and we've got coins. They're calling them yen. Get used to this eventually. You can see that they're in the sort of Chinese coin shape where they're made of bronze. That's that the same as the mirror. And they have a square hole in the middle. So, erg. Maybe I will change that around. I don't know. This is getting kind of annoying. Get a load of that. A chest. Okay. So we've got a wall jump. They say good luck is found in high places. We're going to get a lot of proverbs that probably don't sound too familiar to us. But there's a lot of running and jumping in this game, as well there should be. Wham! Gosh, that's fun. So I've obtained a holy bone, leaning into the dog theme a little bit. Amaterasu's favorite snack restores 3 units of solar energy. We have solar energy, apparently. We have a little terracotta horse sculpture. Feels a little bit more Chinese than Japanese to me, but I'm gonna smash it anyway. Okay, so here we get into the real fun of this particular game and what drew me to it in the first place. Aside from just seeming like good fun, we have powers based on calligraphy brushstrokes. Well, not really calligraphy so much as art, but sumie. I even said it earlier. Why am I having this trouble today? Good brushwork has its own soul. So there's a lot of art and lore to most Japanese forms of things. They like to take a lot of care and detail in traditions. This one, I think most of my viewers will recognize. So we have sort of a divine brush, and we can ink in things that are missing sometimes. Called rejuvenation. If we come across something broken or missing. There are apparently 13 brush gods, one for each power. And we have this again, this things of the spirit not really dying, right? When Shiranui died, spirit became the stone statue. When Orochi died, it was sealed away by the sword. So this story of a god dying, pretty unusual if you were looking at an Indo-European pantheon, totally normal for Shinto gods. Death is just a transformation. So on we go in this sort of god realm. We have found something called River of the Heavens. You can actually see that those characters are carved into the plinth in calligraphy, so they're not very straightforward, but you get 10, which is the character for heaven, and then the kana, the non-kanji, the syllabary for no, and then the kanji for river, which is 3 strokes. So yeah, so you can see it a little bit more clearly. So Ten no Kawa, River of the Heavens. Oh, wrong button. Okay. Yeah. So there's definitely some stardust there. But what's over here? We have Tori, Shinto gateway. Very common, almost always painted orange or red. A gateway marking a holy site or a place where spiritual energy can be found. You see them. Oh, our idol animation has taken a nap. Oh, that's so cute. So you go through the Tori and up here. So we're going to have a bit of a constellation minigame here. So that's a more traditional looking dragon. Showing us how to play this game. So we finish the constellation. Press the R1 button and then okay. I don't know how accurate we need to be. So here's the dragon constellation. We're going to get, you see it's a much more benign dragon, Yomigami. So, well, maybe I don't remember what Yomi means after all. Gami is a form of kami, which means blade. So, this is a god who recognizes us as Amaterasu. God of restoration, it seems. Okay, so we complete a constellation to gain a brush power, it seems like. We shall restore the brush god. We are granted the power of restoration. Who else could master this incredible god technique of bashing pots? Oh, can we... only if I can remember how this works. Thought I saw... Yes, there. That's now in the night sky in this divine realm. Yes, yes, we read that. Yomigaeru, which is the kanji used to write Yomigami's name, means to resurrect. Interesting. So. Okay. Not bad. I did. Sprawling. Swimmy swim. Bonk. Astral pouch. Okay, so it's just sort of a resurrection technique. Okay, I found a peach. I found an apple. So, just some silly little trivia for you. Word for peach, momo. The word for apple is ringo. Although you'll also hear people say apuru. Orange is generally oranji. Although you can get more specific. My favorite orange, the Japanese sweet orange, is called a mikan. It's even smaller than a clementine or a mandarin, and even sweeter. Okay, so the longer we run, the faster we go. Seems to be what it's saying. There's not much to really explore here, but what's this? The Fountain of Nagi. We are in his hometown, more or less. Not really much to look at here. Why is there a... Aha! Something to smash. Okay, so there are a few things to smash around. Dango. So not just dumplings, but these are a particular kind of Japanese festival food that are basically like a sort of gummy dumpling on a stick. They often have flavorings. They might be covered in sesame or some kind of powder. They're delicious. Oh, found some more dango. Up we go. Up through the various tori. Oh. Here appears to be a statue of Nagi wielding the Tsukuyomi. the Cave of Nagi. The statue of the sword is broken. Something is broken. Why, it's almost like they want us to use restoration power. We don't have to be super accurate for it to work. It's almost like it was a clue that the peach lady was calling us Amaterasu. This one looks like a rodent. Nezumi. Why a mouse would have a giant sword, I have no idea. Tachigami. I don't know what tachi means here, but I'm sure it will relate to their power. The sword designed to conquer evil is our new power, which does what exactly? Master of the Power Slash. I bet Tachi means something like power. Or sorry, slash. I'm sure it might even be like if you've ever read manga and seen the way that they make onomatopoeia for noise. Might even be the sound of a sword being drawn, which is often rendered as tachin. Tachin! You know. Okay. Shook. Oh, you notice how every time there's like an ellipsis, it gives you not 3 dots but 6. That's a Japanese ellipsis, so you see that a lot in Japanese games. It's often done vertically, so dot 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 dot, up and down. Ah, yes, lucky us. Amaterasu seems to feel the same way. Examine. Well, you can now. Feel free to draw him. Oh, we've got a little arrow telling us which way to go. Come on, give me... I'm gonna have to switch this view thing. So we have to power slash our way out of here. Back we go. For a little bit... Ah. Right. Some monsters for us to fight. There's more fighting in this game than I usually like. But that's pretty commonplace. So here we have some... They look like some kind of monkey demon spirits. They've got that the paper over their face indicating that they're evil spirits. So I can use my mirror. So, smack them until they're off balance, and then wow. I obtained an ink bottle. I didn't realize I was running low. Then I get a little stat. Okay, so that's how combat works, at least for now. So they have sort of blow darts, is what those instruments are. Okay, back this way. Now, if this were Zelda, I'd have expected them to give me a shortcut. But of course, it is not. Still, we're almost there. Gotta jump to get down. Okay. Back the way we came. We could re-break all those pots, but I want to move on. Let's come out of the ethereal realm and back into the world where do we dare to slash a peach? I think we do. So, thanks, Sakuya, for letting us regrow the village. And restore life to the area. Gross. Very gross. Okay, so off away from the tree and down towards the village. We have a person, but they're frozen in stone. So these are actually lanterns. These stone sculptures here. The fire would be placed. Stop that. In the hollow in the middle there, and they're sort of way markers. They tend to be on roads and boundaries, and if you study kanji at all, you'll recognize the shape in sort of the kanji for for Kyoto. So we've got an overlook of the village, and it's extremely quiet. We've got very sketchy details in the background. Which way did we come? We came around that way. Is there more this way to go? No. Whoa. Well, we're somewhere. We're back at you. Really, I'm just looking for a save point. So, here we are in the village of Kamiki. We've got little lanterns topped by oranges, but we're not allowed to actually read the signposts. It's like the villagers have turned to stone again. And there's a monster. Somewhere. Somewhere. I don't know where. Don't know where we're going. Hey, a save point. Perfect. So, we're going to go ahead and keep our same save slot. I think it will all be good. And I think that makes it a good place to stop for the day. Right here where we have restored the village, but not the villagers. So next time we will go find out what that roaring is and hopefully make some new friends. And one last thing before I go, I just want to point out this lovely little sun design that's etched into the save mirrors and the spot where we leave them. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you're enjoying this delve into a completely different set of mythology and folklore. And I will be back next week, same time, same place, to do a little bit more Okami. Keep learning, friends.